Well, after Storm Babette, it's really good to say welcome to the man cave. We've survived it. More to the point, the man cave survived it. I built it myself quite some years ago now, but really last night I really wondered whether it was going to survive, but we're here anyway. And I've had to split one into two. We're back on my Spanish trip, of course. Andorran, Spain, France, of course. And I know the last one was well received, even though it's 46 minutes. It was well received, and that I'm grateful for, but I still feel conscious that these videos are just a bit too long. And this one was from Seu D'Urgell again. This time I was leaving Seu, as they call it locally, heading for Lleida, further south, but I didn't want to go without riding another section of the N260, and this is the main road section, I suppose, really, the red road if you look at it on the map. But I only rode so far down. I've got to leave something for the future. I've got to go back. I really have to go back to that area. But I'd found a little feature on the map, the Parque des Bunquers, in Spanish, admittedly, but that's what it translated to. Parque des Bunquers is a Second World War site, and it was really, really interesting. But I saw it on the map and I thought, I've got to have a look at that for my own peace of mind as much as anything. So I pulled off. I got as far down as Martinet, and pulled off and had a look around, and it was worth the visit, and I've included it on the video. But on the way back, I had a look at a hilltop village that I'd noticed on the way down, and I thought, it's only what, four miles from the main road up to the village itself. And I thought, I can't ignore that. I've got to have a look at it at least. I'm so glad I did. But it also brought in another village. One of the locals told me I mustn't go back without visiting the next village up, another hilltop village. So I've included both of them. But because I included all that on the way back, it pushed the time out. So what I've done with this one is I've covered the distance back to Seu D'Urgell. After that, I carried on south along some really interesting roads. So I've split it. I've cut this one off as we get back to Seu D'Urgell, and the next one will carry on from there. So I'll just show you on the map, just where we went to. So there we are. That was our overnight, Seu D'Urgell, and it's just a short distance really. I rode down the N260 to Martinet, to the Parque des Bunquers there, and that was fascinating. Then came back up to the village of Aristot, and back up, and then on the lady's recommendation up to Estamariu, and then back down and back as far as Seu D'Urgell. But like I say, the day continued quite some way south from there, so I'll split it, and the next one I'll show you where we went from Seu heading south. So there we are. That was it in a nutshell. Hopefully it's not too long, and hopefully you enjoy it. I found it really, really interesting with the Parque des Bunquers. So see what you think and let me know. Well, it's as I suspected. I think the best section of the N260 was the bit, the yellow road, if you like, that we did yesterday. This is the more mainstream section of the 260. It's a red road, which is, you know, it makes it a bigger road. But it's still a lovely road to ride, but it's not got the jiggery pokery roundy bits that yesterday had. But the valley is now getting more well defined. The river down to the right of us, you can't see it at the minute, it's the Rio Segre. Down on the left, but there's some marvellous views across here. Occasionally there's a hilltop village that looks absolutely amazing because of its situation. One of those villages is up to our left at the minute. This is up on the top there. That's the village of Aristot. You know, I'm fairly sure that I'm not pronouncing these names properly, but I say it as I read it, and that to me is the village of Aristot, right up on the top of the hill. What a beautiful location. Just hope you can see it as well as I can through the camera. Fairly sure most of this this rock around here is limestone. It's got the tradition. It's got the typical limestone fractured look about it, shall we say? Beautiful countryside. I don't want to ride all of the N260 on this trip. I've seen enough of this area to encourage me to come back. I love the Picos, don't get me wrong, but there's a lot more to Spain than the Picos, so it's always nice to explore new areas, discover new places for myself. I know 2 or 3 videos ago I put out, I included a little ponder about, and it was from the heart as well. It was not just a by the way, so to speak, about when it becomes unwise to travel alone. And everybody was very good, all the people that answered, and a lot of people did answer, for which I'm grateful. And 1 or 2 people said, you'll know when it's time to stop riding alone. And I think I know where they're coming from. I've recently started reading a series of books on motorcycle touring by a really funny guy, brilliant sense of humour, Chris Hardy. A whole series of them. And I see a lot of myself in that young fella. Well, young fella, he's 10 years younger than me. He's in his 60s now, and he doesn't like riding with other people. He doesn't like riding with groups, which is me really. And one of the reasons is that, apart from the fact that he doesn't always enjoy the company of people in big groups, is he can do as he pleases. He can go where he wants to go. He doesn't have to have a committee meeting to decide on the next destination. So thank you, Chris Hardy. That justifies my attitude, I think, really. I know there are people who might be watching this who've spent more time here than I have, and when I turn round in a couple of miles and go back, they will say,
You missed the best bit, it was further on. Oh yes, okay. I appreciate that, but like I've said, I've got to leave myself something else. Something to come back for. You've always got to leave something to come back for. That gives you something to work towards and do some research about. Like I said, when I get back off this trip, I'm going to get the books out, consult Google. That's what we do these days, isn't it? We consult Google. Oh, that's nice. Just noticed the petrol is a darn sight cheaper in Spain than it was in France. That's worth knowing. I'm still on the cheap petrol from Andorran at the moment. For another, I don't know, another 100 miles or so. I come out as far as Martinet. It seemed a suitable name to come out to, does that? But I'm just going to have a look at this little place called Montella before I turn around to go back. And the Parque des Bunquers. Quite intriguing, really. Usually you see a brown tourist sign, and it's more than often a place worth visiting. Well, it's interesting enough for a coach trip. Oh, that takes me back. Let's see what we can find out about the Parque des Bunquers. None of my passengers had to wear hard hats. Must be one heck of a driver. Only joking. Right, I'll see you in a bit. It seems that during the Second World War, whilst Franco and his leadership were allies of Germany, didn't really trust Adolf. But not only that, with France falling to the Allies in 1944, then he really became concerned about defending against the Allied forces. So spent a lot of time building this series of bunkers and stuff and defences to prevent the Allies getting through. And this is one of them here at just outside Martinet. There's bunkers of all different sorts and tunnels, all sorts. I'm not going to have time to get through them all. But suffice to say, there's a lot to look at here, a lot of interest. It seems I'm not supposed to go in here without a hard hat from the visitor centre. I'll just poke my nose in. Entire network of tunnels. I'm not going to go right through. Just to give you some idea and give myself some idea just what there is down here. I don't want to get caught. Now this is an artillery bunker. On the upper floor, it's up in 2 floors, but can't go in this one. On the upper floor there would be a large gun trained on the Pyrenees, because it's over the Pyrenees that the enemy, whichever enemy that might be, would approach these bunkers, and down below would be a storeroom probably for ammunition, but there'll be 400 to 500 Spanish soldiers stationed here at any one time. The whole place was built by the Spanish army, mainly during the years of national service. Fascinating. Fascinating. I saw this marked on the map and I thought, that's got to be worth a look. Fantastic views. Fantastic views of the Pyrenees in the distance. That's the border, effectively, with France. And Andorra, for that matter. So yes, that's the direction they'd be coming from. The enemy. Whoever it might be, of course. Well, personally, I thought that was worth a visit. Like I said back there, I saw the place marked on the map this morning. I thought, that looks as if it could be interesting. Parque des Bunquers. Yeah, it was interesting. Glad I called. Haven't seen a lot of it. There's quite a lot of other gun emplacements, bunkers, that sort of thing, further on, but I didn't really have time. I'm not in walking gear. It's getting hotter and hotter all the time. So what we're going to do now is retrace my wheel tracks. We'll retrace our wheel tracks. I won't record the route back. I've recorded on the way out. Back to Seu D'Urgell. And then I've got an idea for something a little bit further on beyond. But let's see what transpires, shall we? Okay, so I'm weak. When I saw that hilltop village from the main road a little earlier, Aristot, and then I noticed 6.3 kilometers off the main road. It's about 4 miles. If I can't afford as long as it takes to ride those 4 miles, then it's time to give up. And what was I saying about one of the benefits of travelling alone? I can do what I want, within reason, of course. Didn't have to stop and say, "Hey up lads, shall we have a look at this?" Nah, just do it. So yes, as somebody else once said, let's do this. Even if the village isn't all it's cracked up to be, this little road is, again, my sort of road. Ever increasing views down the valley of the River Segre, down to the right. It's obviously not going to be the quickest 4 miles I've ever ridden. But it's certainly up there with the prettiest. Oh yes. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. We're up to about 21 degrees just now. A relatively comfortable temperature. It got really sticky yesterday afternoon. Because I had originally planned to come down here to finish the day off yesterday, but my goodness, it was sticky. You know, the more I think about it, the more I think this humble little Himalayan really is all I need. It's just that the last couple of days, it seems that 75% at least of the other bikes I've seen have been whacking great big BMWs, and the rest of them have been bigger adventure bikes. Anyway, this is the only little one I've seen, but it's comfortable. It takes me where I want to go. It travels as fast as I want to travel. It carries everything I want to carry. Why would I want anything else? And on this trip, it's going to be giving me well over 80 to the gallon. And when you're a poor old pensioner like me, the miles to the gallon make a difference. Poor old pensioner. Now I was talking drivel. Ah, look at that. When you see a view like that, it really does make it worth coming up here. There might not be much there. There probably isn't. Let's face it, they probably don't get much in the way of tourism. So this is the village of Aristot. It is a beautiful little place. Truly beautiful. Let's go see what we can find. See you in a wee while. So this is the village of Aristot, or Aristo, I don't know. I'll call it Aristot. This is how it's spelt, of course. Very quiet, very picturesque. And very pretty. Now there looks to be a viewpoint up ahead, so we'll see what we can see, if indeed we can get up there. There's got to be stories about this place. Ooh. You know what I said about a viewpoint? Wonder what that place is. Looks very much like a castle. Sorry, I'm out of breath and out of condition. Oh, but what a view. And that's the way we're going. That way up the valley. Fantastic. It was worth it. Well worth it. So that was Aristot, and it is Aristot. The lady in the pink top, Aida, she's a local, and she's married to a gentleman. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, thank you. She's married to a gentleman called Lee from Wirksworth. And she told me that's fine to ride down here through the village. My goodness gracious me. Am I glad I turned off or not? And there's the church tower at least. Oh. So that was Aristot. Now I'm not going to record the return down the road because it's a road I covered on the way up, but just look where it goes. It's just beautiful. I run out of superlatives, I really do, at times like this. Anyway, I'll see you later. Now, one way or another, oh, welcome back, by the way, yes. One way or another, I will get to the hotel tonight at Lieda. But a little bird, well, not a little bird, a lady called Aida at the last village, she tells me not to go back without visiting this village, Estamariu. And when I looked at the road on the map that approaches it, I thought, yep, got to do this. It's another one of those roads. I was wrong about the rock, by the way. Just because it looked light grey doesn't mean to say that it's limestone. When I looked at it closer, back at the last village, it's granite. It has a definite grain to it. The difference with this village, apparently, is that as well as one or two other things that I'll mention when we get there. There's a restaurant that should be open, and I'll get myself a coffee, or maybe even a Diet Coke or something. It's almost another stairway to heaven, isn't it? Just thinking about my videos from last year. And there's the village, Estamariu, up to the left there. Another beautiful setting. Oh, just look at that. It is just idyllic. Life up here must be idyllic. Although having said that, if you're a farmer it's going to be hard work anyway. Let's go and have a look both ways, shall we? I think I'll go to the restaurant. It is a lovely village. Now this church is one of the oldest Romanic churches around. Appreciate church architecture, particularly the different styles of church architecture, and this, I'm told, is the oldest Romanic church around. San Vincenzi Estamariu. Church of San Vincenzi. Well, my battery ran flat just before I came into the village, unbeknownst to me. But I've just had a look at the hotel cum restaurant. I can find no signs of life, so I'll have a little look around this delightful little village. Estamariu. And there's another church. It's an absolutely tremendous little place. I spotted a place to stop for some lunch anyway. Hanging your washing out, yeah, great. Well, the lady was right. Estamariu is indeed a beautiful little village. And I think it's going to be lunch with a view. Well, everything's got a view hereabouts. But I spotted a park bench just down here as we came up. I got some bread, I got some cheese, and I got some water. Oh my goodness gracious me. Here's a big fella. So there we go. How's that for a lunch spot? Utterly tremendous. Right, bread and cheese. Well, that's lunch done and dusted. I can think of far worse places to have a little bit of bread and cheese. I do like my bread and cheese. So let's go. See how far we get this time without being sidetracked. Just going to drop down to the main road again, and then head off beyond Seu D'Urgell. So I'll switch off for now, and I'll see you in a little while. So yes, that was the first part. Back to Seu D'Urgell. I hope you enjoyed it. But as usual, if you could leave me the thumbs up and subscribe if you've not already done so. I'm getting 1 or 2 new subscribers through this trip. 1 or 2 people I've met along the way, which is really good. But yes, if you could, and again, like I said about the comments, please make a comment, because I do enjoy replying to them. So thanks a lot. And again, I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.